I have filled out my brackets, finally, begrudgingly, and I've got Kansas winning it all. I'm going to base it on a couple of things. Seton had a stat of the day earlier in the week where he said only one team can win it, based on some statistical analysis that only Seton knew about, that he had Kansas winning it all. And then I watched the documentary on Danny and the Miracles, Danny Manning and Kansas Jayhawks. I watched that last night. There you go. That's it. I don't want to give too much thought to it. I leave that up to guys like Jeff Goodman from CBS Sports, who joins us now. Preview the day and night here, Jeff. What will we be talking about tomorrow after what happened today?
Well, I'm here in Auburn Hills, and I'm hoping for chalk here just because I love the potential round of 32 matchups down here with VCU going against Trey Burke in Michigan and Michigan State going against Memphis. I think those could be two of the best, but, you know, who knows? I mean, listen, you got to watch Nate Walters against Trey Burke today. South Dakota State, Nate Walters, one of the best point guards in the country that nobody knows about, and I'm telling you, he could be that hero. He's that good. He's an NBA player, not the quickest kid in the world, but, you know, a pure point guard. And the same thing goes for St. Mary's, who's playing against Memphis. Matthew Dellavedova, a pure point guard. We've got 40 of them right here in Auburn Hills, in Burke, Walters, and Dellavedova. And I think that makes for, you know, people are hammering college basketball. Part of the reason they're hammering it because the scores are low is because at the lower levels, while kids are growing up, what are they doing? They want to score the ball. And there just aren't enough pure point guards out there, and these are three of the best.
Well, I'm not hammering college basketball because of the scores. I'm hammering college basketball because college basketball doesn't invest in college basketball. That this one-and-done rule, we don't get to know these players. Whereas,
but it's not their fault. It's blame David Stern for that. Blame the NBA. It's not.
But Jeff, David told me he was trying to make it at age 20 you could go into the NBA. So this is the players' union. I don't think it's the commissioner.
Correct. Well, that too. Yeah. I think it's an NBA issue, though. The NCAA would change this immediately. Every coach in America right now would love to go where kids can come out of high school or states at least two. They prefer three. They're not going to get three like baseball, but at least go high school or two. But again, the NBA is not going for that.
Can this be a positive season for Kentucky from the perspective of expectations a little bit lower with the one-and-dones coming in, that you don't expect a championship every year, that they got humbled a little bit there? They could be a lot better next year with guys who may stay because they didn't have success and maybe aren't ready for the NBA?
No, it's going to be the same deal next year. Even worse than it was a year ago, because they have the best recruiting class coming in ever. They added Julius Randle, this big-time player, yesterday at power forward. They have the Harrison twins. They may get Andrew Wiggins. It'll be worse next year than it was a year ago or this past year for the Kentucky Wildcats. So it doesn't matter what happened this year. Won't matter at all.
Well, what about these kids who are there, just got through their freshman year? Is it time to abandon ship? Just say, all right, because we're not going to be starting next year. Maybe we should go pro.
That's the biggest question right now. Is like, what do you do if you're Alex Poythress? You know,
I go. Yeah, I go. You're going to be a first-round pick.
He'll be a first-rounder.
Yeah,
he'll be a first-rounder. He won't be as high as people thought he'd be. But if you stay, your minutes are going to get cut in half. I mean, Archie Goodwin, honestly, if he stays, one of the Harrison twins is going to beat him out. He's going to be playing 15 minutes a game.
Yep.
So you might as well go while you can. I agree. I think they probably will end up. Goodwin will probably end up going for sure. And I think Ryan Harrow, the point guard, just needs to go to Europe because he'll never see the light of day next year.
He's Jeff Goodman from CBS Sports joining us. College basketball coverage in the Dan Patrick Show, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Sexy pick. Give me your Final Four.
You know, I picked Louisville to win it all before the year. I'm sticking with them. I think the winner of that Louisville-Duke game wins it all. Okay, that game in the Midwest, I think the winner, I'd love to have Louisville playing Duke in the national title game. I think they're the two best teams, but they could meet, obviously, in the Elite Eight. I got the winner winning it all, which is Louisville. I have Indiana in the championship game. I have Gonzaga in the Final Four for the first time ever, and not because I love the Zags, but I just think that region is so weak in the West. Ohio State, I don't trust. They have one scorer in Deshaun Thomas. New Mexico, I've seen a couple of times. I don't think they're all that good. Arizona doesn't have a point guard. You know, Wisconsin's Wisconsin. Kansas State, I think, loses to LaSalle. So I got Gonzaga almost by default getting through there. And they're very good. They're very good there. And then I have Florida coming out of your region where you have your Kansas Jayhawks winning it all. I don't see it only because point guard play is so important, and I don't trust their point guard, Elijah Johnson, who was, really not very good for 2.5 months of a year.
Before I let you go, Syracuse hoops under investigation again. Now they're looking at major violations. As Boeheim says, same thing as last year. Why is this different, and how does that affect Boeheim's future?
Well, I don't think it's all that different. I think this kind of stems back to numerous incidents. The Fab Melo academic case a year ago, the NCAA went in there and figured out that Fab Melo, all of his work wasn't all of his work. And then they found some stuff with James Sutherland, and that's why he was held out of some games this year, later reinstated. But, they were looking at basically how he had plagiarized a paper and hit him there. So I think all this, what this does is give us a valid excuse to understand why Jim Boeheim is even more ornery than usual. And, bottom line, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll still go out in his own terms unless something crazy comes out of this NCAA investigation, which I don't think is going to happen.
Jeff, good to visit with you. Thanks for joining us. Good luck with your picks there, bud.
Thanks, Deb.
All right, Jeff Goodman, CBS Sports, joining us from Auburn Hills.